My name is Jacqueline, and you're watching Mind Rights 365 TV, and I'm your host, back for another episode. And today we are talking about Relationship is a Mirror, Part 2, What Am I Seeing in the Mirror? What is the mirror reflecting back to you? Let's recap. So in Part 1, we talked about relationship is a mirror. Every relationship is an opportunity for you to learn more about yourself. Why? Because one cannot know themselves except in relationship with another, through the reflection of the mirror in relationship. The whole world is forever reflecting to you what you are doing with yourself at this present time. Most people look in the mirror and never really see themselves. What we see is a projection of how close or how far away from we are to our idea of the ideal image we would want to have for ourselves, or that we've been conditioned to believe we should be. Is the mirror reflecting back to me? Now, in Part 1, we talked about relationship is a mirror. What I see in you is a reflection of what's going on in me, and what you see in me is a reflection of what's going on within you. So we talked about taking responsibility for what we feel, what we see whenever we looking into the mirror of another person in relationship, because that mirror is revealing parts of ourselves, not so much about the other person. It's important to not only observe another person's behavior, but also observe who you are, what you are being, and how you are contributing to that particular situation. Why are some people attracted to certain things and repelled by other things? Why doesn't everybody like the same thing if there's one standard to beauty or to excellence? Why are we all attracted to different things and repelled by other things? Because we all have our own perception. Our perceptions creates the lens of perception that we see the world through. How is this perception created? It's created based on everything you have experienced in your life. From those moments when you had that experience and you said, this happened when I did this, so I'm never going to do that again, and now I'm going to operate this way. And because that happened, now I'm going to decide to operate like this type of person. I'm never going to do that again, or I'm always going to do this because I got this particular result. We have made so many of those choices all throughout our lives. And those choices have created a specific, very specific prescription for the lenses that we wear and see the world through. No one else sees it exactly like how you see it. No one else is attracted to or repelled by the exact same things you are attracted to or repelled by. Okay? The things that strike, and we talked about this in Part 1, the things that strike an emotional trigger within you are specific to you, based on how you have designed the prescription of the lens that you see the world through. Only those particular things trigger you based on your perception. Important to understand when you're looking at the mirror in relationship, because what triggers me to respond a certain way may not trigger another person to respond that same way. That's my specific trigger, and how I respond to that trigger is my specific trained behavior that I have adapted or have been using for whatever period of time to respond to certain situations. It's a part of who I am, though. It's not a general reaction. Everybody doesn't have the same reactions. All right, let's talk about relationship as a mirror. The people that come into our lives are a reflection of what's going on within us. That's why we only attract certain people into our lives. Out of all the millions of people in the world, we find that one specific person or the small group of people that we choose to associate with or we choose to interact with. We specifically attract partners that mirror suppressed parts within ourselves, our subconscious. We subtract external versions of what's going on within us internally. The people that show up in your life are never random. They are always an aspect of yourself that you need to see or that you are now ready to see. It's either for your healing, your growth, or just to let you know where you are and that you're doing good and that you're in the right place. But there is always a message, especially when there's a trigger. Every trigger is a message. Just to break this down a little more. In the mirror of relationships, what I see is a reflected aspect of things that I believe. What I see in another person in relationship is a reflection of my thinking, is a reflection of the way that I feel. Now, I might not feel exactly the way that other person feels that's being a reflection for me, because it's not about matching by their behavior. I'm able to recognize a feeling within me. Through the mirror relationship, we also are able to see the parts of ourselves that we reject. And that is one of the biggest reasons why people break up or in marriages and in relationships, because they get so sick of looking at the parts of themselves that they don't like. Instead of changing the lipstick or changing their outfit of what they are reflecting in the mirror, they instead think if they buy a new mirror that the reflection will change. But normally what happens to us is that we change faces, but we create the same situations with the same stories and the same issues. So new faces, same stories. The mirror also reflects aspects of ourselves that we have not completely developed or that we are refusing to develop. Parts of ourselves that will help us grow or get to where we want to be in life. And sometimes the mirrors also will reflect to us that we are not growing in those areas that we need to be growing in. So it's always a message. Your subconscious mind is attracted to the familiar. It likes to work in routine. It likes to work in rituals. So it's constantly, without you taking action to redirect it, it will be constantly trying to recreate the same things that it has already experienced. Okay. So what often happens is the easiest way for us to even understand why we keep bringing certain mirrors into our lives that are reflecting. Okay, I'll get to that part after this. So first off, let's talk about some examples about what the mirror is showing you. Let's just do some examples. Now, of course, these examples are not like absolute. It depends on the situation, but these are some examples we can just go over and ponder about, so that when you are in these particular situations, instead of pointing the finger at the other person and thinking it's just all about them, you can actually take a look at what they may be reflecting to you in the mirror of relationship. All right. So first example we'll go with is if people are constantly getting upset at you. If people are constantly getting upset at you, what is the message in the reflection of people consistently getting upset at you? Could be that you're an asshole. Will be an obvious one. Maybe you're not treating people in the right way. You need to examine that. That's an obvious answer. But something a lot of people may not think about. She's like, no, I'm a nice person. I never yell at anybody. Well, maybe you're angry at yourself internally. Maybe you speak to yourself within yourself angrily. Or maybe you suppressed all your anger. And instead of you personally expressing your anger from the inside out, it's coming from the outside in to show you that you've been suppressing the angry part of yourself. Next example. If everybody around you is not believing in your dreams, the people around you, nobody believes in your dreams. People won't believe in your dreams. What is this mirror reflecting to you? What's the message in this mirror when you're triggered by it? If people aren't believing in your dreams, maybe you don't really believe in your dreams. Maybe you are not 100% committed. Maybe you are not as committed as you think you are to your dreams. And the people around you are just reflecting your level of commitment or lack thereof. How do you speak about the things you want? The story you create about accomplishing your dreams. Does the story even sound believable to you? Do you even believe yourself? Does your story, the story you tell about achieving your dreams, reflect your inner doubt? That's why sometimes the closest people to us have the hardest time supporting our dreams or our aspirations, because they can really see your level of faith within yourself. And so the next time somebody close to you is doubting your dream or whatever vision you created for yourself, don't take it as a message that you shouldn't do it. Just take it as a message as you need to upgrade your faith in what you're doing. Maybe your faith isn't strong enough. Maybe you're not 100% committed. Maybe it's showing you your level of commitment or lack thereof. If people are always trying to tell you what to do, what is the message in the mirror of this relationship? If you're always dealing with people who try to boss you around and tell you what to do, what is the message in this trigger? Maybe it's definitely revealing to you a fear. Maybe you have, the biggest thing that comes to my head is maybe you have a fear of making choices for yourself. You have a fear of making choices for yourself. You attract people into your life who boss you around and tell you what to do. Attract people that consistently lie to you. You're attracting people that lie to you all the time. I know this is a good one. I'm gonna go there. So if you're attracting people that lie to you all the time, what is the message in this mirror? What is the message when you're triggered by being lied to, or you find yourself in a situation where you find out people are lying to you all the time, or people are lying to you? Maybe you lie to yourself. Maybe you lie to yourself, you lie to other people, or maybe people lie to you as a reflection of you avoiding the truth within yourself. You cannot trust other people. This is a big one, right? You cannot trust other people. What is I can't trust you. I can't trust you in the mirror reflection. What is this message in the mirror reflection saying? I feel like I can't trust you. What is the mirror saying? Could the mirror be revealing the lack of trust within myself? Maybe it's not that I don't trust you. Maybe it's that I don't trust myself to make the right decisions for me. It could be revealing that to me. That I'm possessive, jealous, and insecure, and I'm triggered. Could this be reflecting to me repressed feelings that I have about maybe abandonment in my childhood feelings about abandonment that I may have repressed? If I feel abandoned by another, could that be reflecting to me how I abandon myself within my own life? Identifying what the mirror is saying to you and not judging yourself is key. Mirror is always revealing to you what you believe, what you think, and what you feel about yourself. Every encounter. You can change the energy exchange in any interaction with anyone. I always give this example. Me and my mother used to fight a lot. And I had all these judgments about her and what she did. And so she liked to, when she would start a fight with me, I would fight right back with her, and then we would just argue with each other. So as I was studying mirror as a relationship and understanding that how she is responding to me and how I feel about it, I'm contributing to that by my behavior. So if I want her to change the response that she's giving me, instead of demanding or yelling at her to do that, what I can do is change what I'm reflecting to her. Then she has no choice but to change what she's reflecting back to me. She can't argue with someone that's not arguing with her, or she can, but how long will it go? How long will it last? How powerful will the energy be? The energy is going to transform. It's not going to be the way it was when we are combating with each other. We had an argument, and at first I was arguing back with her, and then I remembered, and I just changed my whole attitude, and I was just attentive. I really listened to her, and I just did not respond in the way that I normally respond. And you know what happened? She tested me. Don't get me wrong. She tested me. She kept arguing. She tried to pull my cards a little harder to see if I was going to fight back. But eventually, I watched her run out of gas. It happened about 3 years ago, and we haven't had a big argument since then. Because I no longer allow anyone else's actions, words, or responses to dictate how I will act, respond, or dictate to them. I know that how I respond, act, and dictate myself in life is based on my perception of who I am. And how anyone else is acting in their life is a perception of who they are. It has nothing to do with me. So I don't need to respond like them or respond in a way that I say is not me, if that isn't me. In the mirror relationship, is teaching you about yourself, and most importantly, is teaching you about the parts of yourself that you need to heal. And why is it doing this? Because you want to feel like a whole person. You are not supposed to deny certain parts of yourself. You are supposed to embrace every part of yourself. And until you decide to do that, you will continue to run into mirrors that will reflect to you how you are abandoning certain parts of yourself. Okay? Let's talk about how we even get into abandoning parts of ourselves. It starts in our childhood. When our parents tell us, you cannot be like this. Just so we can find out what's familiar. What are you attracting? What's familiar to you? So go ahead and put out a piece of paper. I would do it in half. On one side, we're going to put home. And on the other side, put relationships. On the home side, I want you to write down everything that you couldn't do or be in your childhood. Couldn't be angry. I couldn't be loud. I couldn't be whatever you couldn't be in your childhood home. And also write down in that section, under the home section, write down any negative emotion that you felt in your childhood home. Write down all of the negative emotions that you felt in your childhood home. So if you felt lonely, abandoned, sad, dismissed, tolerated, unwanted, like a slave, you felt unheard, unconnected, whatever you felt in your childhood home, write down as many things as you could think of as quick as you can without thinking too much about it. And then also write down all the things that you could not do in your childhood home, that you could not do, that you could not be and you could not do. Okay? Now, when you're done with that, I want you to write down the 6 most important relationships in your life. I will always say mom and dad, or whoever your parental figures were, dad, and then your 3 most important love relationships, if you had that many, 3 most important love relationships to you, and then any current relationship that you have right now, whether it be with like a best friend or just anybody, your closest relationship currently right now. Next to all of these people, I want you to write down from your home side, I want you to write down all of the emotions that match. So all of the emotions and the things you couldn't do on the home side, write it down next to the people that you felt these emotions with. Okay? So take a look at your list and then see where you find some patterns. You should at least find 3 to 5 patterns with the words that you wrote down in the relationships that you wrote down to kind of get an idea of what has been common for you or feelings that have been common for you in your relationships. And then that would be what's familiar to you and what you are subconsciously attracted to. It's not like you consciously go out to look for someone that may abandon you, but if being abandoned is something that's familiar to you, subconsciously you may be attracting that into your life, okay? Because it feels familiar. Whatever feels familiar. This whole conversation, this is a wake-up call type of conversation, but I do not want you to feel bad about what I'm saying. None of this information is meant to make you feel bad about yourself, about who you are, or about who you've been. Every time you are triggered, To see something in the mirror and you actually take the time to discover what that is and listen to the message, that is a gift. That is a gift. It's nothing to be ashamed of. It's nothing to feel bad about or judge yourself for, no matter what you see. You learning about yourself, and you should accept all parts of yourself. That's what the mirrors are reflected to you. So what you are seeing in the mirror is just information to help you become more whole within yourself. And the more whole you get within yourself, the more those mirrors will reflect that to you. And that's what we all want, right? We want our mirrors to reflect the best of us to us all the time. And when they're not reflecting the best of us to us all the time, we don't want to be around those mirrors, right? If we crack the mirror, if we crack the mirror and then we go look in it again, we don't like the reflection that we see in the mirror anymore because it's cracked, you know. But what we don't realize is that we actually have to take the time to fix the mirror if we want to look in that mirror and not see that cracked reflection anymore. We do have to take the time to work on our own issues, our own actions, our own reactions, our own beliefs, our own feelings. You have to take responsibility for your feelings. When somebody makes you angry, though it may seem that they are doing something to you, they are not. They trigger something within you. What is the mirror telling you? What is the message in this mirror? Is the message that you should be focusing on other things? Your priorities are not in order? Is the message telling you that you should be taking better care of yourself? Is the message telling you that you're not loving yourself enough? Is the message telling you that you should trust yourself more? Is the message telling you to value yourself? Is the message telling you that you need to set certain boundaries in your life for yourself and other people? The triggers that we see in the mirror of relationships are there as tools to guide you. Let the triggers be the guide and go along for the ride. Okay? To learning and understand yourself is a journey. And again, this is not about judging yourself, punishing yourself, or deciding that I'm good, bad, right, or wrong. This is just about learning about yourself, all of yourself, the aspects of yourself that are your favorites and the aspects of yourselves that you have kind of abandoned and decided that they weren't worthy, and they are. All aspects of you are worthy of being embraced, seen, and can contribute to the world around you and the relationships that you have. So, final message. In the mirror of relationships, what am I seeing in the mirror? Remember, the next time that you are in relation with another and you are triggered meaning that an emotion has come up within you, a charge of emotion has come up within you that has caused you to, or is going to cause you to react in a certain way. Remember, next time you are triggered, take a moment, if you can, before you react. Take a moment and ask, what is this telling me? What is the message? What is this mirror reflecting to me about myself? All right. You guys have a great night, and I am going to do a part 3. And if anybody got any questions for part 3, that'll be the last video on relationship is a mirror. Love you guys.